Welcome back to your live continuing coverage of InfoComm 2015's Digital Signage Pavilion on the Digital Signage stage in the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. This is your live official coverage. I'm Michael Artsis. It's BeTerrific.com, BeTerrific TV. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited. It's just been so much fun here, and it just keeps going. This is the last day, but we're not done yet. I've got Curtis Tilley from Microspace on. He's spent 25 years in the industry. He's worked in every part of it, from operations to engineering to implementation, everything, even integration and sales and marketing. Curtis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Thank you. You guys are really good when people have infrastructure not in place and you can come in and solve a lot of problems at one time. That's really kind of your sweet spot.
Exactly right. So it could be infrastructure challenges just for infrastructure's sake. It could be a lack of bandwidth. It could be security requirements. So really when you have that communications link where you need content delivery, and especially large content delivery into the enterprise, that's where we come in with specialized solutions.
And you guys can do, I mean, this isn't something that's common necessarily in digital signage, but you can even do satellite uplinks and downlinks, and it used to be something that was necessary more. It's becoming necessary less and less, but when there still are places for it and you need somebody who knows what they're doing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we thought, as a legacy satellite company, we thought in the next couple of years we're really going to see that part of the company start to fade out as more terrestrial and wireless solutions come in. But it's been almost the opposite. We've had just this year 2 large networks that we've lit up new satellite channels for. And the benefit of satellite is the more locations, the more cost effective it becomes, because you're splitting the cost of that content distribution among a larger number of sites. So there's still a place for that, and that's very interesting to me. It's been exciting.
But you guys also do wireless and terrestrial.
We do, as appropriate. You know, we provide a custom solution. So again, it could be for a large bank where you have 2,300 locations, you're delivering the content. Satellite might be the right fit for that. It might be a restaurant group that requires additional bandwidth, and wireless might be the right solution for that. So we look at the requirements of the project, and if there's existing bandwidth, existing infrastructure, you probably don't have the need for us, but if you need a managed service, that's where we come in.
But a lot of times people don't realize, they think, oh, I've got the high-speed internet, right? And then, by the way, my cash registers run off that, my credit card machines run off that, I give free Wi-Fi out to the customers, I got this, I got that, and they don't realize that they actually do need more bandwidth and a real solution, especially like satellite's really important when you need high security and you can't get bandwidth into the location too.
Absolutely right, and one of your earlier guests this morning was talking about truck rolls and the cost of truck rolls. So a lot of times you go into an opportunity and you think, I'm just going to ride on that Wi-Fi that exists at that customer location for retail, for example. What happens when that goes down and you can't talk to your infrastructure at that site? You've got to roll a truck and get somebody out there only to find that it's somebody else's network problem. So we help, you know, bypass that issue. You install a parallel network, go in and have a fully managed solution that minimizes that cost of a truck roll that goes out as well.
Talk about the Velocity platform you guys put out in 2014 and 15.
So Velocity actually is our legacy product. Cellcast is our newer product. That's probably my mess up there, but the Velocity product still is growing. So we had a couple new customers I mentioned that we launched networks with last year. One was a forward-facing retail application to about 700 locations that provides retail digital signage, basically interior-facing, customer-facing retail digital signage. The other application is also about 1,000 locations, financial institution, that's entirely employee-facing. So completely return on what your goals are internally to discuss those with employees.
Seems like you have a lot of fun. You get a lot of cool projects and have to solve a lot of problems.
It seems like there's always a new challenge. There's not a one-size-fits-all on this side of the industry for sure.
And Microspace is a 28-year-old company. You guys have been doing this forever.
Yes.
How did Microspace get into the industry and start doing this?
So Microspace's first customers were satellite-based, point to multipoint. 28 years ago, there was not a lot of infrastructure for large network deployment of content. So one of our first customers was Muzak, doing background business music. They remain a customer today with over 120 audio channels, although the name has changed. I think it's Mood now. So financial information, weather information, we deliver weather information to 97% of that industry. Every TV station in the US has a microspace dish. Every airport in the United States has a microspace dish getting content via that Velocity satellite system.
What do you think of digital signage today and where it's come and where it's going?
What we've seen internally, we supported the first digital signage networks, large digital signage networks with people like Pharmacy TV going back 15 years ago, at a point where the infrastructure, the cost of equipment was just astronomical, and there wasn't an ROI on any of that. And what we're seeing now is our customers are coming to us with a much healthier approach, that they've actually got infrastructure costs under control, they've got installation costs. It's more of a cookie cutter solution from that side of the industry, that it's not as unpredictable as it used to be. So we're seeing business plans that are more comprehensive, which leads to better successful deployment, which leads to better customers for us.
What are the pain points still that you notice?
Pain points in digital signage still are, I think, the support, monitoring, control, all those things that happen, and I guess content creation. The things that happen after you get all that infrastructure in place. There's still a lot of work to be done, from content creation all the way through to network management.
I hear content creation a lot because I think there are a couple things in digital signage that are kind of afterthoughts, and I think content creation is one of those things that, you put the sign in or the signage system in and then you go, oh, what do we do? Or you plan to have this great content rollout and you spend all this money doing it, but you didn't plan to create content regularly. And I think that's starting to change because people are saying, especially integrators, when they get the call, like, okay, what's your plan for content? More and more than they used to, especially early on, but it seems like it still is one of the biggest issues.
Yeah, it's amazing. So many integrators out there are ignoring not only the need, but the potential revenue, by bringing a couple designers on board. And companies like Multimedia, like the Whites that we know so well in the industry, have done a real good job of addressing and making sure that content piece is first and foremost. And from a content delivery technology company, we want more content. We want that content updated constantly. We want that content moving through our network, generating revenue, not only for the end customer, but for us as well.
Very awesome. Microspace.com.
That's right.
How did you get into the business? I know you've been in it for 25 years and you've worked in pretty much every aspect of it, but what was it that really got you interested and excited about it?
So as an engineer out of college, moving right into satellite communications was about as exciting as it could get. With an up-and-coming company in the industry. At the point we're only 3 years old. So just a lot of opportunity, a lot of very interesting projects, and a good group of people. I mean, they've kept me interested for 25 years now, so it's been a great run.
Wow, very, very cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you on set. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time. Before I let you go, what has been the most exciting thing you've seen here at InfoComm 2015?
I should give you an answer like the display technology, the high density LEDs or something else, but there's another side of my life that the drone stuff is just amazing. So we don't have to tell my boss that, but the drone stuff is just fantastic. And I think that's an industry that's going to feed into signage and everything else we do. It's going to become more pervasive.
Certainly, and especially content creation of that.
Absolutely.
But there's also the idea of all sorts of ideas and putting beacon on some drones and all sorts of great connectivity. There's all sorts of opportunities, I think, with the drones as well. Some things we haven't even thought of.
That's what I was going to say. Things that we haven't even imagined yet, people are going to be using this for. So I think we're going to see some legislation come on real quick that's going to start to control that industry a little bit, because the size of these drones, you could really,
Well, I've been saying that since the beginning. I've been lucky enough to have reviewed the first DJI Phantom and the Phantom 2.
Yeah.
And I actually reached out to DJI in the very beginning when I got one, and I said, listen, and they made some changes to what I said. I said, listen, first of all, I don't know how high this thing's flying.
Yep.
I'm only supposed to, at the time, allegedly fly under 400 feet. And it's all changed now, and there's starting to come, some rules come out, but I don't know what 400 feet is. And I definitely had this thing way too high and definitely too far. And we started talking about safety, and I said, listen, if you don't get on this now, and you don't get in front of it, and you don't help create a federal program that helps people get trained, licensed, and do all this stuff, and fly safely, then these will all be banned, period. And it'll ruin it for everybody. And they started to get on it, and they started to do a good job, and there's a whole drone consortium. All the drone companies have kind of got together. They're talking with Congress. They're talking with the FAA, and I got to commend these guys for getting it together. It took them a little while, longer than a lot of us would have liked, but they've gotten together and they've started to, as you said, come out with the right legislation. I mean, there were police officers that knew it was illegal, didn't know how to do anything about it, and also had no way, they had also sometimes no jurisdiction. So great, you can't do this, but I'm not a federal agency. I can't arrest you for a federal crime when I'm a local police officer, or ticket you or summons you.
Yeah, that didn't stop a lot of them. So there's been just a lot of misinformation. The FAA has acted outside of bounds for what some of the actions that they've taken because they haven't had any rules in place.
But I think they're all doing a great job now. I think the FAA is doing a great job.
It's going in the right direction.
Yes, it is, and I'm glad, and it's exciting, and I'm glad that that has happened, and I think it's necessary, and it makes it a very exciting time and allows us to use it for many different uses.
Agree very much. So it'll be interesting to see how that feeds into content delivery, into digital signage, and other uses in the
What do
future.
you think of the interactivity and also the immersion with the 360 video that we'll probably see a lot of next year?
So on interaction for digital signage, everyone's talking about big data, data analytics, how are we going to capture and interact with signage. I think all of that is just really starting to come into play, and retailers are trying to determine how do we use this information, how do we get to the valuable pieces of this, and how's it all going to pay for itself.
What's your favorite part of InfoComm in general?
The display technology really is amazing, and how we've seen the prices of these displays come down, the weights of the displays come down, the sizes get bigger, and just visually, contrast, brightness, and of course, pixel depth has just become amazing.
Curtis Tilley, thank you so much for joining us from Microspace. Microspace.com, you're awesome. The company's awesome. It's been awesome to be here. We've got a lot more to come though. You're the Terrifics. I'm Michael Artsis. We'll be back with a whole lot more of your live, official, continuing coverage of InfoComm 2015's Digital Signage Pavilion on the Digital Signage stage in the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.